Well, I guess it's happening. On Saturday the 17th of June, live from the United Center in Chicago, AEW Collision will be debuting, and along with this, a huge name will be there. Pepsi Phil, better known to us as CM Punk, will be returning to All Elite Wrestling. This was confirmed by Tony Khan on the 31st of May edition of Dynamite. The worst kept surprise in wrestling is no longer a surprise. Cheers, Tony. Now the cat is out of the bag, wrestling can all go back to normal, right? Well, it's become known in recent years that anything to do with CM Punk is not normal. Let's look at the famous brawl out from September of 2022. Shoot promos are common in wrestling, but none in this manner. Using his time in the all-out media scrum to slander his former friend and tag team partner Colt Cabana, attacking the company EVPs, the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, and further slamming other members of the company such as Hangman Adam Page and MJF. Whether Max's involvement was a shoot or work is yet to be seen, but altogether, the whole situation was a miss. The only good thing Punk really said was about Mindy's Bakery, whose products he promoted whilst eating. This was followed by a huge brawl backstage when the Young Bucks confronted Phil in his changing room. It's been said that CM Punk fanboy Ace Steel bit Kenny Omega and even threw a chair at Nick Jackson. We'll never truly know what actually happened that night though. It's not my place to start rumours or speculate, so let's just leave it at that. But what happened then really changed the landscape of AEW. CM Punk, whilst being injured, was suspended and stripped of his newly won AEW Championship. The Elite were also suspended and stripped of the AEW Trios Championships, the titles they won just like Punk a few days earlier at All Out. Other names involved like Christopher Daniels and Pat Buck were also suspended pending investigation, and Ace Steel was in the end released from the company, even though he's back now working from home. Cut to the present day, and after 9 months, CM Punk will be returning to AEW and, as reported, become one of the big stars on the company's new show. This is huge, right? One of the biggest stars is finally going to be getting back in the ring. Well, how good is it really? Let's look at some different benefactors in the whole CM Punk and AEW situation to decide whether it's actually a great thing or not. Is it the second coming or just a grumpy old man returning? So let's talk about the first of these, the people who were involved in Punk's disappearance. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks returned to our screens at Full Gear in November 2022, just over 3 months after they were suspended and have been going from strength to strength. They won the Trios titles again and their story picked up instantly from where they left off, and they have been in the forefront of AEW TV ever since. But there is one big talking point about Kenny, Matt and Nick right now: their contracts. It's been heavily rumoured that Kenny and the Bucks' time with the company, if not renewed, will be ending very soon. And you can't help but think that there's going to be a big load of points to be made when their meeting about re-signing comes up. One of these big points will more than definitely be Pepsi Punk. I mean, this team knows business and how to conduct themselves, and when other companies come knocking, especially Triple H and his version of sports entertainment, Vince is there too. A lack of Second City Saint would seem appealing. AEW president Tony Khan will be a huge reason to why the Elite leave too. Regardless, he is a people pleaser and, according to many, a great boss. He really did not seem to have control at that press conference. During Brawl Out, Tony just sat there whilst Punk ran his mouth about the EVPs and didn't bother to step in or lay down his power. If I was Kenny in the Bucks, I'd be really angry about somebody who apparently supported us and even made us executive vice president, which essentially means nothing. He even named the company after us. I'd want to consider screwing him over and leaving. I mean, it's no real surprise, as it's always been common knowledge Tony wanted Punk from the get-go and to build the company around him. We even saw this when he joined in 2021. Everything was put in place to make Punk the main character on the show. The way I see it is the old train metaphor. If there is one person tied to the track, let's say CM Punk is that person, and on the other track there is 3 people, the Elite, which track would you go down? Do you kill the many for the one, or the one for the many? I've just realised I'm saying that Tony needs to either kill CM Punk or the Elite. That's not what I'm saying at all. Let's just change it to, do we want the company to be AEW or APW? All Punk Wrestling. I know some people will be happy to see the back of either the Elite or Punk, but it's not really our decision to make. We aren't the people who control the backstage morale of wrestlers. But there is one thing that the train doesn't have to consider. Now, contrary to popular belief, the main support of any wrestling company isn't the fans. It's the money that you give them, and the sponsors' money, and the TV networks' money, and the advertisements' money. I mean, to be honest, the wrestling fans are only a small portion of the income. No wonder Vince never listened to you. But there is a big fact that Tony Khan will have definitely considered. CM Punk brings in money. He also gives AEW high TV viewership. Yes, it's not the couple of million WWE pulls weekly, but it still is drastically higher than the majority of other Dynamites we've seen over the years. Great viewership then becomes great money when the TV networks want to renew or even offer new contracts, and with great money, Tony can get more WWE rejects and further push the company towards WCW. Yes, gatekeepers, sure, the Elite do bring in money too. A big reason why this whole company revolved around them at the start, but they still don't equal the amount of revenue they receive from Punk. Having him on AEW Collision is a great move, as it will instantly get the wheels moving on the dollar rolling in. Dynamite will still bring in funds, and so will the pay-per-views. Having all your main shows pulling in income is great, and Punk is a great way to do it. One of the main issues with Punk being exclusive to Collision, though, is it's been reported that the AEW roster will be pulled apart when Collision starts, with some being on Dynamite and others being on Collision. Names we already know joining the Saturday night show are Andrade El Idolo, Miro, and Thunder Rosa. Unlike the former women's champion, Andrade and Miro aren't injured. They just haven't had any creative for a long time. This seems to be a lot of the public's perception and what the AEW roster will consist of. People who don't get on TV. A lot of these names have apparently been picked out by Punk as well. When was he part of creative? Oh wait, politics. But this does mean the show's rosters may be determined by people Punk likes and people he doesn't. What if someone ends up annoying Phil? Do they instantly get moved to Dynamite? With the rate Punk does get annoyed, he could have no one with him by the end of the year. This could also lead to us not getting matches we want anytime soon. You want the Elite versus CMFTR? That's probably not going to happen because they'll be on separate shows. Not to mention the absolute disdain the teams have for each other. But this is going to be the case going forward. Unless a wrestler is one of the champs, as they apparently float across shows, certain members won't meet in the ring for a long time, if ever. Shame. But these are just some of my thoughts on what I think the biggest factors in CM Punk's return are. There's obviously a lot going on behind the scenes that we won't ever know and probably never will. But the big question is CM Punk's return to AEW a good thing? Yes. No, because it's going to be a bit of a mess with the roster split, and is CM Punk actually controlling the show? And there also is the chance that Punk hasn't changed or redeemed himself since the All Out press conference, and he shoots on someone and it all happens again. But yes, it's a good thing because, you know, it's CM Punk. For a lot of us, he was the wrestler we connected with and wished would return to the ring after he walked out in 2014. He's still a big deal to us, and there's some wrestlers we'd love to see him work with. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think CM Punk returning will be a good thing, or is it just Tony Khan wanting to fanboy a bit more? Remember to also like the video and subscribe to the channel for some more content. I've been Toby King, and I'll see you in the main event.